What is 25 years too old for? Sleeping in the car and waking up in your bed. It took me a minute to process that this does not mean you passed out drunk in your car while driving and then woke up at home afterward. My parents decided that 5 was too old for that. Lack of accountability. Looking down on stuff you liked as a teen because you're too old for it. I think that age 19-20ish was when I realized how dumb it was to be embarrassed about hobbies and interests. Not being able to do basic chores yourself and relying on parents' partners to do them for you. I think I read too many IITs. I'm 30 and sadly was so pampered and taken care of until like 23, even after moving out from my dad's at 18, that I'm still learning new basic things. In fact, just earlier today my sister was over and showed me the proper way to sweep. I always use it as a cautionary tale for others to make sure they learn and teach their kids. It's a nice sentiment to want to take care of them, but there has to be a line. The swing with the leg holes at the park. My friend did this when he was 17, got stuck and the fire department had to come to get him out. The best part was because he was a minor, they made him call his dad to come pick him up. This was many years ago, but I like to remind him as much as possible. Not if you try hard enough. Not cleaning up after yourself. We had a 25-year-old house guest last summer. One night he walks into the living room and goes, "Sorry guys, I clogged the toilet upstairs." We thought it was weird that he brought it to our attention, so we laughed it off and just assumed he took care of it. Nope. We walk upstairs an hour later to find the toilet filled to the brim with shit water. When I confronted him about it, he goes, "Oh, well, where I grew up somebody else would always take care of that for you." I later found out the kid grew up extremely wealthy and would just tell the maid's housekeepers to clean up his shit-clogged toilets. My 3-year-old's favorite phrase with weaponized incompetence is, "I'm too small. I asked you to pull up your undies and pants." No, dude, that's not how it works. I fear he will never actually outgrow that excuse. Too young to die and too old to eat off the kid's menu. What a stupid age. Oh, dip buatlieses. Learning that actions have consequences. You can't just undo things or backpedal your way through life. Regretting them won't help either. Instead of dwelling over the past, one should use that past as fuel for the future. What you once did wrong shouldn't be repeated, and instead, do the right thing instead, do the right thing instead. For starting a career as a competitive gymnast. I'm 54, but as soon as zero-gravity gymnastics becomes competitive, I'm going for gold. Most popular sports, really. But yay, gymnastics was the first one I thought of. You're telling me? I hit a trampoline park around that age for a friend's bay and my knees haven't been the same since. Worrying what other people think. It was such a great day when I realized I didn't have to keep seeking ambiguous approval from random people. Sure, there's people whose opinions I value, but as for the general public, I don't have to try and appease some norms and I can relax into being myself. I'm 25, and I'm quite an anxious person. I don't really know how to not worry about what people think of me. Edit. Thank you to all responding to me and for being so kind. It feels nice to have a vulnerable moment on Reddit, be followed by so many sympathetic people. Temper tantrum. Agreed. From now on, strictly professional tantrums only. A banana. Most bananas I get barely last a week. I think that after 25 years, it's time to throw it out. Have you tried freezing it? My mum definitely has 25-year-old bananas in her freezer. She's planning to make banana bread any day now. Screaming, "I'm do woon" when on the toilet. Come wipe my butt. But then I won't get my mam. I shit the bed at 25 with my fiancé next to me. You can find me on Tinder. Expecting that a significant achievement will merit prodigy status. 25 is still pretty young in coaching, government, or the corporate and business world. Too old for drama and fake friends. Once I got out of places like college and especially high school, I really started valuing my free time and it became easier to pick out relationships I thought were actually worth it and tend to them. If you still find yourself hanging out with people you hate once you're no longer required to be in a space with those people, that's on you, with certain exceptions pertaining to abusive relationships, of course. 25 is when that starts for real. High school drinking parties. Stop being a damn creep. Once you are 21, you are too old. Cops come. Oh, you're the only one who can legally provide alcohol there. That's a felony. Not knowing how to grocery shop. worrying about what others think of you. Live your life. They can get bent if they don't like what you're doing for your life. Making mistakes and blaming everyone else, thus never learning and living in a cycle of bad choices due to lack of self-awareness. I feel like that's less of an age thing and more of a maturity and willing to learn and get better thing. Got elders doing that as often as kids, and every year in between. Most 25-year-olds are still not quite aware of their choices. 15 years old. Whoop, whoop, that's the sound of the police. 15 will get you 20. As a 25-year-old teacher who teaches 14, 18-year-olds, the sound of that makes me want to throw up. Committing petty crimes. 25 is just about the age where what I call the newspaper effect starts to set in. If you read Local Man 24, arrested for insert petty crime, you think he's just a kid. If you read the same thing about someone 25, you assume they're a piece of trash that won't get their life together. There are a couple dumbasses that I went to high school with who got arrested for throwing rocks at cars driving on the freeway. They were 32 and 33 years old, and one of them has children edit. I just found the article, and they were 31 and 32. My bad. Yeah, at that point I'm wondering where their ambition is. Like, grow up and rob a fucking bank or something. None of this piddly shit. For thinking you are too old for arbitrary things. Stay youthful, people. Do whatever makes you happy, within reason. Emo because it turned into an addiction. I'm gonna say drinking every day, too much partying. Cool it down before it's too late. As a 25-year-old who lives with similar aged roommates, I notice it's about this age one starts reflecting on that party lifestyle and either addresses it or doesn't. Edit it. Everyone thinks I'm only talking about alcohol. I'm talking all substances that change your mind. I personally struggle with weed, although I have been 100 sober this month. Dating minors. Not to be confused with minors. They are some pretty hard-working people. Edit. Many people are questioning what about a minor. At that point you really have to understand that it is up for discussion. To be a minor, they must be very mature for their age and not like the other girls. Mining is hard work. Good thing we're dwarves. Margaret Thatcher had a policy to screw minors. So did Jimmy Savile. It's too old to go another year without starting your dade career. You need to establish yourself with a group of friends who will age with you as you continue your campaigns together. Otherwise you'll end up like me, a closet dork who is just now coming to terms with the fact that I've always wanted to play it, but was too afraid to ask someone to show me. Now I'm older and trying to teach myself, and I have no one to play guide me. Dating a teenager. When I was 16, I dated a 28-year-old guy thinking I was hot shit. Now I'm 32 and constantly thinking, what the fuck? 26, I would not feel comfortable dating anyone under 21. Just here to make sure nobody says video games. 25 is too old to be making fun of people for their hobbies so long as they're legal and ethical. Leonardo DiCaprio. Well, mods can lock this one. Question answered. Not at all true. He's currently dating Gigi Hadid, who's 27. Even Leo had to make an adjustment for inflation. 15 days on Reddit and you have already peaked. It's a pity I can't answer with a GIF, as you know, the Leo DiCaprio clapping meme would have been the ultimate response. Thinking 24 is funny. Prince Andrew. Not knowing how to do basic life maintenance house upkeep. No excuses, not knowing how to do your laundry and have at least a few basic meal recipes you can make for yourself. I understand even financially some people still need to live with their parents at 25, but not knowing how to keep yourself maintained and contribute to your family on basic cleaning and cooking tasks is not acceptable. I lived with a friend who had never left her parents' place up until she lived with me, other than a dorm. Her dad didn't let her do any house cleaning, always saying she was doing it wrong and taking over. She accidentally made a huge sticky mess in our kitchen, and I had to walk her through how to mop a floor. It took so long and she used far more water than she should have, so it took forever to dry, but I didn't say anything because I knew she was already so self-conscious that she didn't know how to do these things. The apartment she lives in now is very clean and tidy, and she bought the same mop I had before Lofi. To be told what to do by your parents. Children of immigrants, laugh at your statement. Going to prom. I'm 42, and take my wife to prom every year. I mean, we're technically chaperones, but we go to dinner first and don't have to stay the whole time. Not having independent living skills.